check on my phone, get things shared out here. So that way, okay, I'm looking this way, but my computer is this of me. So if you see me looking that way, that's why. So me, before I do anything else, I'll just open my phone. Easier. Okay, this is not for kids. I'm also nervous. So if there, disclaimer is if there is any kids out there watching, please note that they're sensitive topics and I don't know if you're old enough to listen. And I decided to make this as a live stream. And if you do listen, I'm not responsible. Because my channel is marked not for kids. So anyway, let me get things settled over here. Um, yeah, I decided to do this live stream instead of as a video or whatever, so that way I don't have to edit or anything like that. Excuse me. You should probably hear me burp. Okay, you guys can hear me. Okay, so I'm gonna share these things out. Oh, shoot, I think I'm on the, yeah, I'm on the wrong. But yeah, once again, this is not strictly for kids. This is, my channel is marked not for kids. So once again, sorry for the poor lighting. I'm not gonna close that window. I have this lamp on over here, but I don't have a desk in my room or like a table, side table. So if I want to do it privately, I have to come in here. Is my office. Um, and you read that right. It is about, okay, I'm doing this. I decided to do this as a live stream instead of a video because I felt that way instead of having to film, edit, and whatever. I can just get it done in one go. So that's why it's live. And I'm leaving it up as a live stream. I'm gonna put it in my podcast folder. So I know nobody's here, but I'm gonna just be talking as people are here. So once again, I decided to make this a live because I didn't want to film my camera, my GoPro. I'm also trying to stretch out my left foot because it's very swollen. So there you go. And it's because I got a shoe. These new shoes. My left foot is bigger than my right. So these shoes is really crazy. So I'm getting over that. Um, so yeah, I'm still sharing this out. Okay, let's send this here. And I'm also gonna go live on at some point because I have a lot of cleaning up to do. This isn't my room, so I have a lot of cleaning up to do afterwards. So I'm checking the chat. Okay, I had to disconnect my mouse from my computer because I have only like 2 slots to plug things in. So with my camera and my mic, I don't have a mouse. Oh, I do have a mouse on my laptop, but that's not the point. So anyway, let's get this. Let's see, what can I film with coffee? Also, don't mind the wet hair. I took a shower, so yeah. So yeah, you guys see my phone. Let me do it this way. So maybe I can see my phone, or here's what I can do. I'll go this way. There, I have two cameras. You guys can't see it because I did it, but anyway, I gotta plug in my phone because the battery is also cray. Okay, I'm not quite sure on YouTube's terms of what can be said and what cannot be said, but I know some details. So I'm simultaneously going live. Oh, hello Instagram. I'm simultaneously going live right now on YouTube. Often is because I'm looking at my camera here for YouTube. So this is a first for me, and I'm also checking the chat. But okay, today's topic, if you haven't seen by the title is My Story, My Past. Okay. And please on YouTube end, don't forget to give this a like and subscribe. My main YouTube channel, Instagram, is Hey Grace Vlogs. I also have a YouTube channel called Defining My Grace if you guys want to follow me. And right now, I know nobody's here on Instagram, but if you guys do want to watch, I'll link this up as well. So here we go. So the topic is my story, my past. I'm really nervous right now to be talking about this. I'm really anxious. To be talking about this, but oops, it needs to, I guess, be talked about because, tell you the truth, I've always had it in my head that, oh my foot, always had it in my head that it was my business. Nobody needed to know my business, and that if there was anytime anybody wanted to know my business, it could have easily come and talk to me. I'll be willing to talk to you about what had happened or anything like that. And this microphone Instagram is for YouTube. So anyway, where did I begin? Let me see something over here. Okay, I was hello there on Instagram, but okay, I'm 37 years old, and in my whole adult life, I had two relationships. One was quite serious. The other one, I wouldn't even know if you want to call it serious. So I'm checking. Okay, so basically, um, I am 37. I had two serious relationships my whole adult life. I'm anxious and I'm drinking coffee. But anyway, I don't know. my as a teenager, it's not like you are teenagers are teenagers. Okay. And I know I talked about expectation of children here on YouTube and online on social media to begin with, but also but I didn't really talk about me and who I am. And I always try to make sure my content is always on YouTube. It's like not like it's not that because there was never that expectation or anything like that. If anything, I would rather exploit me than my child. I'm trying to turn a shut away because my foot, like I said, is swollen from a shoe that I got because my foot is bigger than my left, my right. So it's quite swollen. I'm sitting a certain way because of that. So anyway, but to talk about me. Yeah, that lighting makes it a bit. So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about me. Where do I want to begin? Don't mind the background, Ken. So like I said, I'm 37 now. I turned 37 in August. Don't mind that. From 18 to now, I had 2 serious relationships. And my second, okay, I should go to the beginning. Excuse me. My first adult relationship was back in 2006. You guys do the math. And at that time, you know, I was just happy to have met somebody, not giving it a second thought kind of a thing. But I was just happy to have met somebody. But at the same time, I guess not a lot of times these days red flags are often talked about. And yeah, a lot of red flags was talked about. I mean, picked up on. I picked it up then, but at the same time, I didn't want to think about it. Whatchamacall? I know I know now that they're red flags. So please excuse me if I'm stuttering and like that because I am nervous, anxious. But anyway, moving on. There was a lot of red flags. That first relationship, not other relationship. It was horrible. I guess you would call it DA. I don't know if I can say domestic. Yeah, I'll just say it was domestic. Okay. Um, there was talks of me not being here, my son not being here. There was talks. Yeah. Cautious. When I'm anxious, I start playing around with things. So good at my yeah. So there was talks of that, me not being around, my son not being around. I don't want to say anything that goes against YouTube, but yeah, there was talks about that, and there was stalking. There was being watched. I had my apartment door screen broken and my door unlatched. And of course, I went the legal way. I also did everything I could possibly legally, and I'm trying to talk about what happened without actually like going against what you two may or not like. So keep that in mind. And Instagram, I'm trying to say things without um going against maybe what Instagram wants people to talk about, and it's okay to talk about, and not okay. You know, if you guys catch my drift. Um. So yeah, I went everything legally. not only to protect me, the child, everything involved. I did that. Of course, the legal system sucks, to say the least, and government sucks. I can say that. Um, so that's not um, something that I can probably say. I know, well, I can say that I do suck, but it's not something that um, I can say they did a great job at. Even with my own father, we ended up with an order against, completely ended up an order of protection against him, and he broke it that day when we went to the courthouse. So, and they didn't do anything. They just made him like it, yeah, it doesn't work. So if you guys see me looking this, I'm looking at my computer. I'm trying. Guys, if you guys could see my setup, you guys will be amazed. I have like two cameras here on my monitor. But anyway, so yeah, I went the legal route, everything. And one day, I can't recall exactly what we were in court for that day. I cannot remember exactly. It's like a blur now, but you know, there's things that do stick out in your mind. Um, but oh, it was for the order of protection. Okay. Um, and I'm not gonna mention names, so don't go there with me. Don't go back or anything and say, oh, you said this name, you said that. I'm not gonna mention names. It's always gonna be he. Okay. So in the court, when you do have an order of protection, they usually keep people separated, so that way there's no issues or problems that may arise. So I was on one end with my dad and my son, and he was supposed to be on the other end. Now, okay, imagine me sitting on the chairs. My son is in a stroller, and my dad is sitting next to me. Okay, so we're talking. I'm talking with them. We're discussing things, and next thing I heard somebody, a lady. I can't remember what was actually said, but somehow my attention was grabbed, and oh, it was asked, is that the person that you have your order on? And when I looked, my ex, he was at the end of the hallway of where I was, um, staring at me, stalking me, staring, wanting to come to me. Um, like like that. He was staring. Okay. So that lady blocked me, and there's other, of course other people around me at that time too. So where I was like sitting, I'm like sitting here. She stood right in front of me. There was other people around me as well, and somebody else went and told the sheriff. They made him leave. He was trying to come down the end of the hallway, and he saw the people around me, and he he was literally stalking me. He stalked me before I gave birth and everything. Um, it's so hard, and there's a reason why I'm telling this story, my story to begin with. So bear that in mind. Um, so the sheriff made him leave, and I admit I read because a lot of this happened when I got pregnant. You're already your pregnancy. When you're pregnant, your hormones are generally crazy to begin with. Okay, anybody who's been pregnant or been around a pregnant person knows that your hormones are crazy. For lack of a better term, you're everything. You're growing a human, to be put it nicely. You're growing a being inside of you. Okay, so it takes a toll on you emotionally and everything too. So bear that in mind. But also, I'm pregnant, majority of it, and 2 years into my son's life, so my child's life. So 2 years after that, to my son's life. So um, keep that in mind here. Even one time when I was pregnant, I dropped a jar of spaghetti sauce. Okay, I wanted spaghetti to eat for that day, our meal, when I was pregnant, and I cried because I dropped it. So, like, hello, you know, that basically should tell you guys that women's hormones when they're pregnant is not the great, like not the best. And if there's any women who'd be nice at any of it, around themselves. Don't forget to like this on YouTube, okay? Um, thank you guys for watching, whoever is here. But anyway, moving on. Here I am drinking coffee out of my London cup, so, and I'm anxious. But anyway, so barely out of my about pregnancy, okay? So this all happened, started before I got pregnant, when I was pregnant, and 2 years after my son was born, okay? So, um, but so that made, when I gave birth to my son, I had already, I developed depression, postpartum, a mild case of postpartum depression. I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder, generalized anxiety disorder. And then it wasn't until years later, just like in the last couple of years ago, I've been diagnosed with OCD, PTSD. So you catch the drift with how things stem. But I call it I call it like the dark rain cloud. You know how when it's really bad, stormy, there's like that dark rain cloud. That's how my brain felt like at that time. And of course, my purpose then and is to, excuse me, now is to be there with for my son. He was always and is my driving purpose. He's the force. Everything that I did and do is for him. He kept me going. He still keeps me going. Sorry, phone. I'm trying to make sure that I got my charger in. So everything that I do and did today is for my son. He, even my daughter, my most cloudiest of rain fog days, I push forward because of my son. Even to this day, I still push forward for him and now for myself. Honestly, can say for myself. So flash, okay. I'm at a place now where I was able to. I didn't recognize it as domestic with my first ex. I didn't see it that way. I was going through so much as it is, being a young single mom, doing what I needed to do, taking care of everything, pushing forward, and I don't regret that. I don't regret having to do what I needed to do, being a single mom, being there for my son and whatnot. I don't. There's not a day that goes by that I don't regret that. I could go back in time and get my son to have him conceive. Heck yeah, I would. But so don't get that too um, mixed up, okay? So fast forward, not flash. Fast forward to 2019. So whoever is joining on Instagram as well as YouTube, my main camera for YouTube is right here. So if I look off to the side this way, it's because I'm looking at this way. So fast forward to 2019. I had reached a point where I had put it in the past, never recognized it really. Well, I never really acknowledged it as domestics. Um, and I was just living my life, raising my son, and just doing life, day to day things. I didn't really. I volunteered at church. I taught at church. I did work prior to that, so I did photography during this time. I sold some of my work. So it's just, mild, mild. I don't know what do you want to call it, but I keep saying wanting to say flash, but fast forward to 2019. Well, 2000, late 2018, 2019, okay? I met my second ex through YouTube, of all things. It was through mutual friends that we met, and we started talking and becoming friends. And before we knew it, he fell in love with me quickly. It took me quite some time to fall in love with him. And this was 2 years of my life, almost 2 years of my life. June 2019, we started dating. And if you guys are on my YouTube channel, you guys know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to mention names. You guys can check out my past history videos. You can see all that. But always listen to your gut instincts. I'm gonna say this: always listen to your gut. Your gut is telling you something. You have instincts, and it tells you something. Right? Even though I had loved this person, I cared deeply for him, um, and wanted the best for him. Wanted to help him, be the best partner that I could be. Relationship wouldn't last, but I was trying not to acknowledge it. That there was red flags. Remind me, I have a son, okay? We're a package deal, okay? And I understand putting your family first. And if you're religious, you put your faith first. I truly, truly get that, okay? I understand that. I've been there. I'm there. I put my son first. And it's like, if you don't like it, then you know what? Get out of my life. But anyway, so I understood where he was coming from with that because that's the same stance I have as well. But number one, right off the bat, his friend, his bestie friend, was more important than his girlfriend. And it made it out to where I was supposedly jealous of her when I wasn't. Um, I think anything she was jealous of the fact that I was there because it took him away from her. And another red flag, the list of the red flags, was narcissistic. He was controlling. He had access to my Facebook account. If he didn't like you, he would block you. Even though you and I may be good friends, he will block you. He'll get jealous easily. Even though here I live in Hawaii. I'm born and raised in Hawaii. If you're related, if you know each other, whatever your initial greeting is to greet each other with a hug and a kiss. Okay, that's the initial general greeting. One time we were on a FaceTime call and that happened. Ran into a friend. We gave each other a hug, a kiss on the cheek. He got insanely jealous. Told me to break up with him because of it. Um, and my friendships. Yeah, I managed to salvage some since the breakup, but one of them, he was like my brother, and I don't know if it will ever be the same like how we once was. Even though I love him dearly, and it was because of this ex of mine, and it's bad enough that he had addictions. I don't know if I can say that, but he had problems of his own that he couldn't get through, that he would feel immense guilt because of his of faith. I mean, like I get that, when you're religious you feel a certain way, but every other thing was guilt because of it. Like he felt guilty over it. Like he would break down and cry. I mean, this is just saying how bad it was, okay? And then his family was another issue. They didn't like me. They hated me. I can tell you right that they hated me. And yeah, I'm living through this with like my own. He was controlling. He was narcissistic. He had his own problems. He was jealous. If he didn't like you, he kicked you out of my life. I only had to be friends with people that he knew. And when I brought up my concerns, like these people aren't good. They're not good at all. He was like, no, you don't know them. You gotta give them a chance. And no, time and time again, they proved that they weren't good people. And he didn't listen. Um, in May 2001, we broke up. Well, he couldn't break up with me because he couldn't find the words. He didn't want to say it, so I had to say it. Um, because he couldn't handle change, and he kept changing his story and all this kind of nonsense. But it really hit me hard. There was this person that was supposed to be my forever, my best friend, my rock, whatever you want to call it, and things ended. So I had panic attacks. I was depressed. I was crying. I was anxious. And I'm telling this story is my first ex and my second ex because it's time for me to share my story. And if any of you are comfortable with that, I'm sorry, but I am a domestic survivor. Um, so yeah, I had panic attacks. I was crying. I was anxious, and the friends I thought I had a time was the very ones I told my ex that they weren't good people. And now this very day with those people, I'm like, best of you. Whatever happens to you. It's just toxic people, and just live your own life. Do what you gotta do for you. Just leave other people out of it. I'm not talking badly, just stating fact. Okay. Um, but at some point during that time frame, I don't know how you want to call it, of me crying, being anxious, being panicky, whatever you want to call it, I started finding my own self. I started healing. I started meditation. I started keeping crystals with me. That was my main thing. Crystals, they helped a lot. I know a lot of people don't believe in it, but I do. I actually lost my faith at one point in God. And I guess I came like an atheist, I guess if you want to, but crystals, meditation, learning more about anxiety, the wisdom of anxiety, just going on walks, getting out of nature, writing in my journal, and doing self-care, basic self-care things, finding me in the midst of heartache really, really, really helped a lot with my healing. And I mean, I've been in therapy for years, but it took that, for me to really find the person hidden underneath all my anxiety, all my panic attacks, all my PTSD, OCD. Like I said, I've been in therapy years. Doesn't I mean it's supposed to help you, but do you think being in therapy for, let's see, majority of my son's life, something would click? Never did until not like 2 years ago. Um, but I realized it's all about the mindset. Okay, I learned that about myself. Learned that for myself. It's about the mindset. You have to counteract as best as you can to battle off your anxiety, depression. And I read this book called The Wisdom of Anxiety. It tells that your anxiety basically is your body's way of telling you a message. And I read that, and it's just basically your body's way of telling you that your anxiety is telling you that there's something, like a message. Like I said, it's your body's way of telling you that it's a message of some sort. We don't know what kind of message, but it's a message nonetheless. Um, Tia Tahin or something like that. I went on a spiritual journey, I guess you would say, and that's really what helped me with my mindset, my growth. Yeah, I try to look at the positive things. Things may be miserable now, but doesn't mean that it has to be miserable later. Doesn't have to mean that it has to be miserable tomorrow. And truly being grateful for what you do have. Yeah, things could be worse. Right now, I'm stressing about something else other than my story. But things can be worse, things can be better, and things will fall in place. You just have to work towards it and get where you want to be. That's where my whole defining my grace comes from, because everything that I went through, that's my model, defining my grace. If I had like a model, a mission statement, or whatever, it's defining my grace. Because everything that happened to me in life, regardless if it's my exes or everything in between, my own childhood, whatever, it shaped me to be the person that I am today. And I had to define my own grace in life. So that is what defining my grace is. Everything that you went through, regardless of what it is, it shaped you to be the person that you are today. And it made you, it defines you. That's your own grace. You defined your own grace through that. And I'm a better person today. I'm stronger because I acknowledge these things and finally acknowledge these things and face it instead of just like, it's in the past, let it go, it's in the past, let it go, it's in the past, let it go, it's in the past, let it go. Just move forward, keep moving forward. Don't, but why I wanted to share these stories about my ex, sis, my exes too. It's because YouTube, and I'm sure here I know I shared that I started working with a tour company at one of their local malls at Waikele, where they would bring tourists from Waikiki to drop off, shop for the day, and then pick them up at the end of the like around 2 o'clock, sometimes 5 o'clock. But hang on, coffee time. It's probably cold already. Yeah, it's cold. But anyway, so that's basically it. And then I sit there seeing if people want tour packages or they want to go back on the shuttle, that kind of thing. So that's my role. I'm trying to see if I can bring this closer. I can just have two cameras by me. But anyway, that's what I do. So this past Sunday, when I was at work, there's a farmer's market that they had through the month of October. And I keep looking at the computer when the camera's right here. But so on Sunday, I saw two friends of mine, well, a friend and a neighbor. And then, it was pretty nice. My foot started swelling up because of the shoe. Um, so it's kind of like uncomfortable, sore, all that kind of jazz, all that kind of nonsense. 1 o'clock ish, 1:30. We didn't have anybody going back to Waikiki. Nobody wanted to go back to Waikiki at that time because there was too shopping. So I had my manager know, okay, nobody's here. Nobody want to go back. They're still shopping. Can't force them to go back at 2 o'clock. They're still shopping, right? Nobody can. I'm still shopping. I don't want to leave at 2 o'clock. It's like 1:30 and I barely got started shopping. I'm like, I ain't going nowhere at 2. That's just me. Why am I drinking cold coffee? That's right. I hate wasting. Anyway, sorry about that. I hate wasting coffee, even if it's cold. But anyway, so that's my thing. So I was in touch. Next thing I know, I see the company shuttle van pull up. I'm like, why is he here? I didn't know who was driving that day because there's multiple drivers, and the one that I know who he is, but like that's weird. I'm texting a manager. I'm sure she probably told the driver there's nobody there. But or he was just already on his way, and I thought he was gonna leave. That kind of thing. So I'm over there watching it go because by the parking lot there's food truck. So he was heading that direction, and I'm like, why is he coming? And I can tell you, all week I had before leading up to this, I had anxiety in the pit of like now in my pit of my stomach because I know there's something that's gonna happen. I know I can't pinpoint what something major is gonna happen. This year has just been personally has been pits, okay, in a lot of ways, more than one. But so when I get my anxiety like that into my stomach, I know something's gonna happen. Okay. Um. Then the driver pulls around to the curb. Next thing I know, I'm like talking to other people, helping other people with their information, questions, whatever they needed, to have help with. I'm there answering questions. Um. Besides offering shuttles and tour packages, so I'm there just basically talking for anybody. Um. But anyway, next thing I know, I see the shuttle van pulling up to the curb. I'm like, and then right off the bat, I felt uncomfortable, and I stood by the kiosk, and I'm like, usually when I do this, that means like no more. There's nothing there. Like no more, no more. And he's staring at me, and I'm like, why is he not coming out? Why is he just like sitting there in the van? So as I was walking to that, I really felt uncomfortable. Okay, he rolls down the window. And I was like, "Gee, this guy looks familiar." It wasn't the same driver that I knew of for the last couple Sundays that I've been working. And so it is this like, no, it's not the same driver that I knew of the last couple Sundays. Let's just put it that way. And I was like, "Gee, this guy looks familiar." He had shades on and everything. Next thing you know, he goes right off the bat. I knew that was my ex, my first ex from 2006. I did not know that he worked for the same company. That smile gave it away. I started backing up. I said, "No more. There's no people. There's no people. No more." And I can feel my hands starting to shake. Okay. I immediately got on the phone after I walked away from the van, just pulling out slowly. Mind you, I'm terrified to begin with of him because I know what he's capable of, to put it that way. Um, he's slowly pulling away from the curb. I'm on the phone texting my manager. I said, "This is so and so, my ex. Are you in the area? Can you come?" She was on her way. Mind you, I'm shaking. I'm freaking out. I'm crying. I'm breaking down. And next thing, she calls me first, saying, "Okay, I'm on the freeway. I'm coming. Start closing up. Close the kiosk. You're done." I'm like, "Okay, yeah," because she could tell I was freaking out. And then um, she calls me again. She goes, "Okay, I'm on the freeway. I'm on my way." I went, "Oh my god, da 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 da." I said her name. I'm not saying it here. I went, "Oh my god, da 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 da." He's coming again. He's pulling up to the curb and he's staring right at me. He is driving. He went around the parking lot, pulled up slowly to the curb by staring at me. I started freaking out. "Shh, hi." Okay, it would help if I mute my mic on YouTube end, but this really messed what I was saying on YouTube is it really messed me up. That incident really, I was shaking when I had my hand like this. I was shaking, yeah, slightly. How can it not let you get? How can it not mess you up? You, how can it not mess anybody up? And then we have a legal system that is messed up in its own self. You know, if it's in your somehow always in your favor, then more power to you. But more often than not, it's not in anybody's favor. I can tell you that. Um, but yeah, but and I'm one of those people that I guess it's something that worked in my favor. Um, and the reason why I was thinking about this like last yesterday afternoon and today, more it really came on strongly that I needed to share my story because after 17 years of basically having this story and feeling like it was nobody's business, burying it deep down, it's like there's no shame. I realized that now, especially after what happened on Sunday, that there is no shame in sharing your story because technically nobody is alone in their journey. There's people out there who went through similar things that I went through, or basically domesticated things that they went through, like how I went through. Everybody's story is different. There is many, many, many people out there that suffer from anxiety, depression, PTSD, OCD, the list goes PhD, ADD, the list goes on of things that people suffer with. And oftentimes, like for me, especially in the beginning when I first was diagnosed with anxiety and depression, I felt I felt isolated. I felt alone. Um, I felt like I had to be treated with like Mickey Mouse gloves or kid gloves or something like that because people looked at me differently. They looked at me like, "Ew, you're wrong. You're not right," you know. And they kind of treated me that way, so I didn't tell anybody what I was feeling and what I was going through. It's isolating. It can be very isolating. Yeah, there are people now in my life that I can talk to, and it's easier. I notice it is easier to talk to people who experience the same things as you, like anxiety and depression. I keep saying that because that's my main main things that I suffer with. But it's easier to my understanding of how it is, how it's my main understanding because that's what I know and what I've been through. But I do find it easier more often than not talking to people who share the same or similar life experiences as you or life journeys as you or has same things as you. I mean, each of us has a different story that why it brought us here, whether with anxiety, depression, whatever, all our stories are different as to how it got to be like that. But I have noticed that it's easier, and I'm really close to the camera because I can see it on that end. But um, we're all similar in experiences, so it's easier for me to talk to people who experience the same things as I did or do. And I wanted to share this story about my past with my two exes because it's time. I need to be an advocate. I need to, or something. I don't necessarily want to say advocate. I want to be someone who um, can be relatable, who I know is like, I don't want to be silenced anymore. I don't want to let my past that I felt ashamed of, that I felt shamed from because of how I was treated and how it made me feel, be in a way, be in the way, because you know what, it's part of who I am. And it would not be right for me to say that I'm defining my grace because of my past. Let me to find myself who I am and define my grace. without sharing my past. So hence my story. I'm trying to sit like this because my foot. Okay, Instagram. I don't know if you guys want to see my foot. But my foot is swollen. It had looked like I told us I looked like nothing. So this is my setup. I have my phone right there, my computer right there, and my camera. Okay, so I'm gonna show you Instagram now. My setup, so you guys can understand what I'm doing. Okay, get off of that. Can never get this set it right. Okay, Instagram. Let me see if I can flip you guys around. Or I can. There's my swollen foot. It's not as bad as it was before. There's my tripod for YouTube. There's my computer. So yeah, that's my setup. It would help if I had different monitors, but I don't. I don't even have my own office area. All I ever wanted was my own little man cave, woman cave, where I can do content and stuff. So. But anyway, we went on to almost an hour. Of, I don't know technically how long I've been on here, but on YouTube it's almost an hour. But that's the reason why I wanted to share my story, because I felt it was time to share me. I lived with a narcissist, not lived, but I had a relationship with a narcissist, a controlling one. If he didn't like you, he would block you from my life. We were in my relationships. He was jealous. He was controlling. He had his issues that I don't know to this day that if he ever got over them or dealt with them properly, but it consumed his own life. He put his friendships before me. I mean, I was never jealous, but I'm like, hell, I'm your girlfriend. Shouldn't I have priority over that? You know, you spend more time with them, you would spend than me. You know, um, and I had another ex who, it was really bad. He didn't want me to be here. He didn't want nobody to be here. I'm not gonna do that route on a life. That's what I want to say on a life. He stalked me before my son was born, and he stalked me on Sunday. Stalk, and it's upsetting because after 14 years ago, after our last courthouse visit, and he tried to come to me in the hallway by standing there and was watching me and coming towards me. After that 14 years ago, I haven't heard from him, known where he was. I got letters from an agency saying that this, and this, but that was the first time in 14 years I actually seen him. And I brought back so much that I worked hard against. Like I said, I feel like it's time that I start. Nobody really knows my story. To me, it's like, also, it's like, it's none of your business, because I know there's a lot of people out there who only look for gossip and want gossip. I live in a building that people just want gossip. They want to do anything to gossip and talk badly behind your back. And they'll stare at you if they see you coming out of the building. So it makes you like, hello, are you talking about me? Come and talk to me. Don't talk behind my back. You got a problem with me? If you want to say something about me, come to me. But yeah, so that's one of many reasons why I have anxiety, depression, which is in partial remission today, and I'm proud for that. And I have PTSD. I have um OCD. Yeah, I know I have OCD. Things have to be a certain way. But yeah, I wanted to share my story because there's nobody that really knows my story. And there is no reason for me not to share it anymore. I'm still gonna share it. And I'm never gonna mention names. On YouTube, you guys might know who it is, but I'm not gonna mention names. Um, the only reason why I'm sharing it is because it is my story. It's my life. It made me who I am today. And 2 years of me healing, growing, going on a spiritual journey. You know what? It's time to share my story. And you know, I'm not lying. I'm not the type to lie about these kind of things. So everything I say is true. See, even the baby agrees. But why is it spot on my computer? But anyway, um, yeah. So I'm gonna end this live stream and then finish up here on YouTube. Okay, hang on YouTube. Let me get this shirt out. I'm gonna mute you guys for a second. Okay, why that post? I'm sorry, I'm trying to get that done. But anyway, this is the reason why I wanted to share my story because nobody really knows my story. And I wanted to share it with all you guys because I felt after Sunday that it was time for me to share it. Um, so this is why I made it into a live stream so that way you guys can, um, I don't have to edit or anything like that. I'm trying to get this thing so close out. Breaking news. Oh, gosh, and water. Okay. But okay, but anyway, so with that, I wanted to share my story and know that you're not alone. Um, I still feel like this is not good, not the last of it. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll end it. next year. Have a great one.